Hey everyone, I am live. I think I'm live, hopefully. So if people are in, thanks for watching. Sorry if I'm looking all over the place because I got my YouTube stuff over here and this is the camera here. And I do have a new light. I don't know if this is better. We can go like this. You don't want to see my ugly mug, I don't know. But we'll put this over here for now. Should be fine. We've got light coming in because it's a nice part of the day. It's sunny here in Adelaide. Oh, and we lost the light, so we've got no light. Anyway, um, we are live, and I just have to figure out a way to screen share. I think I'm just trying to figure out how to do this. Will it let me screen share? We might have to look into this. Don't have access to this feature. What is it? All right, let's have a look. It's going to suck if I can't actually stream. Anyway, anyone want to talk? Feel free to talk about Kickstarter or anything really. Um, So I might need Christy to figure out how I can screen share on YouTube for me. So in a minute, but while we're waiting, I'll just keep on painting and doing stuff to try and. But yeah, we can talk if people are in. Feel free to ask me questions or say hi or whatever. Oh, quickly, I want to announce as well. We have 2 winners on the contest. So there was today's draw. The new winners were. Let's do a drum roll. Let's have a look. Philip Wells won a set of resin dice, and Patrick Stacey. So back at 68 and back at 23. Sorry we didn't do the hat. I do have the hat over there somewhere with the magical names in there and stuff, but that was done by Christy and myself in the morning. And I want to announce that for hey Nicole, how are you? Howdy. I want to announce that I'm going to be having 4 people that can win on Kickstarter tomorrow. So probably by after the last update will go out with 4 winners. It might be 6. I'm thinking of doing 2 during like when I live stream tomorrow night. If all goes well on the live streaming, if I figure out how to do it. Hey, terrible Aussie, what's up, mate? And so possibly 6 fans will get a chance to win a set of resin dice. They were put away somewhere. I did have them here a second ago. I'm going to walk. I'm going to go find them. 1 second. Here they are. So, yeah. But we've got the hat here of everyone's names. It's a very deep hat. And we have the resin dice here, so you can have a look here. Everyone's going to get a chance to win these resin dice. Thank you, everyone, for backing the Kickstarter. We're at 11,500 almost, and doing really well. So I'm really happy about that. Christy is going to try and figure out how to do the screen share. So until we do that, we'll have a look over here.
There should be a button that says screen share.
Yeah, we've got stream here. I'm probably just being there's share, but there's no screen share. Love the room. This is my brand new studio that I built. So with my dad, took us 6 months. There is no, like, if anyone knows of a button, there's webcam, there's manage. There's no button to share my screen. I'm just trying to find it. So that's going to suck. You're just going to see my ugly mug for a bit while I paint and we can talk. So Nicole has a cool project. It's called Fox and Hound. That's on Kickstarter. You can also check that out. It's a bit more for adults or whatever. It's got a bit of nudie content and stuff, I think, or not nudie, but sexy content, should we say? So, which is cool. But yeah, until we get it all. Whoop whoop. Yep. Whoop whoop. It's going good. Is it funded yet? Are we there yet? Let's have a look. Let's have a look for you. Fox and Hound. How's that going? Thanks for checking it out, Bede, as well. Bede, you might. Sorry, terrible Aussie, not Bede. That's Fox and Hound is almost funded. That's a Melbourne. I think terrible Aussie is also Melbourne. So if you want to check that out, I can put the link in the comments. It's pretty cool. Awesome. Yeah, I'll be at PAX as well. Definitely, I'll be at PAX. I got in. So we'll be playing Cats versus Dragons. That's the new game. Now, this is still in alpha mode. We're actually talking about this today. This is Cats versus Dragons, a new card game. It's based on the Luminous Ages series on the comics, but it's an awesome party game. And we've been testing. other ways of playing it, and even new cards. And so it's going to be like 3 ways you can. I don't want to reveal what's happening. It's not a name change, but it's going to be called something even more exciting. So we're really doubling down on this party game, and it's gonna. You can still have a few alpha editions left, not many. They'll be really rare, but we're going full next year at PAX. Before PAX in September, we're going to launch the big game and market it and spend the whole year promoting it and getting it out to people. It's a great fun game. So yeah, thank you for watching the Pout 123 and checking in. Yeah, and I really want to thank everyone for watching and liking and all that sort of stuff. This is my it's Bede LMFAO. It's Bede. Yes, I know who you are, Bede, and yeah, I'm not sure what I've done, but I can't seem to share my screen, which sucks. So I've got some cool art, which I was going to share today and do a live stream of painting, but it will be a matter of me maybe talking. Maybe it could be a chilled out one. Hey, I can do a studio tour. So Nicole was saying lovely words about the studio. So this is, yeah, built by me and my father and my friends. Well, my dad kind of just helped out. Dad was the building inspector. I was the guy, and I had 2 best friends that helped me. So my mate Daniel Opie and my mate Ross Malabazos helped a little bit. I had my cousin come down and help. So it was a big boys project, and my dad was the building inspector. But he helped a lot in sourcing really affordable, recyclable materials. So this is all recyclable wood from building sites. He got permission from building sites to build my studio, and so it's an eco-friendly art studio. So you can have a look here. That's the entrance over there. We installed that door. It's a sliding door there. This is a really bad shaky camera. I'm just using my webcam. There's my other monitor there. There's a painting there. There's me. There's my bookshelves and art materials over here in the corner. Another table there. And then we have Christy over here. Hi, Christy. You want to wave? She's my lovely assistant. Helps out. There's a miniature painting station as well. We do paint minis for fun and for clients. And there you can see we've done all this. This was a crappy garage. We've installed great lighting, and we painted these beams, which are really annoying. We also have plants everywhere. I'm a bit of a plant fanatic. Yeah, it's huge. I've got so much art, and we still need to buy a warehouse, I think, or build a warehouse. I'm going to go have a look, and this is my view every day. So I get to see this while I'm painting every day. I don't know how far this camera will go. Yeah, that's my view, ocean view. That's my backyard. You can see my green bin. I've got to do a lot of weeding. That's ocean view daily. It looks better in real life. You can see ocean close up. I'm literally a 10-minute walk. I'll just say I live at Merino Rocks. Okay, don't want to give away my address. So I'm at Merino Rocks in Adelaide, South Australia, pretty close to there, and living my best life. And that's all my veggie patch there. Everything self-sustainable. Maybe I should do a gardening episode or something. Show you how I've got parsley through the roof, growing broccoli like crazy, celery, all that sort of cool stuff. So that's just a tour of the studio. I'd like to do a better YouTube live. Maybe I'll do a YouTube live with my phone next time. So I think Christy's figured out something. No. So this is Christy again. She's also an amazing artist herself. She does a lot of, I suppose, very illustrative, cute style artwork. That's probably the best way to describe it. Cute stuff. So she's Kiki Creations on Instagram as well. No. So I've set up something where I can't screen share. So I'm probably just going to talk crap for the rest of today. I don't know, for a little bit anyway. It's probably some sort of customization I haven't done right. So the webcam. We can't change that. Public. Oh well. You don't get to see my beautiful art process. Maybe we do a Facebook live stream. We'll do this. We'll talk a bit, and then we'll possibly. I'll do this for an hour. We'll talk for an hour. And you know what I'll do? I think I figured out there is a screen share option on Facebook live streaming. So we'll do a live stream of me painting in an hour or so. So we'll talk for a bit. I think. Shane Siddle might come on as well. He's got a Kickstarter running as well. We'll promote him a little bit. So you'll be watching regardless. Cool. Oh, awesome. So thank you. I will talk about stuff. So I've got the comic here somewhere. I'm just trying to find it. So there's all my comics. Bear with me. Here we are. So Luminous Ages has been running since what, 2015, 16, around about then. And this is the new comic, the Kobaloi Goblins Are Greek. It's going to be, we've changed it to, instead of Goblin Origins, I've gone full on crazy, weird, and I'm just stating goblins are Greek. Whether you like it or not, they're Greek. All right. And I've got militant Greek on you. And there's some of the artwork pages that we printed. You can see how cool it looks. So, and there's Dionysus there himself. And I'll be busily. We've done it. I've done about 12 pages, half of the book, painted and laid out and all that. And the whole script is written, and it's definitely, you're going to get at least 24 pages of sequential art, at least close to that, maybe 26. And the rest will be concept art, like pages, sketch pages, process pages, maybe a stat block for, because we still have a D&D audience who have the dice, so we might release stat blocks on Mavravas, the mercantile goblin, Polemos, the army goblin, and Okeanos, the pirate goblin. So I'm going to probably do stat blocks so people can play them in Dungeons and Dragons. We've really found that it's been a lot of fun. I play D&D. I've got a few groups I'm a part of, and we've been testing all of our dice there, and also testing the D&D. We did the Byzantine Book of Monsters, which was one of the highest funded comic anthologies in Australia. It's also a D&D book as well, so that's really cool. This is the comic anthology section. This is the comic. There's 30 pages of story and then a bit of an anthology in there of about 8 creators, all amazing creators. That one won an award, a NACA award last year. And yeah, it was fun, great getting that, I suppose, recognition for that. And those that don't know, Australian Kickstarter Awards are a thing. They're an award where the top highest funded projects get awards and stuff like that. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, so definitely can't wait to finish this book and show it off. I'm thinking the next 2 to 3 weeks we'll have it done. You know, I'm working day and night to finish it for you all. And I've got Stephen Kwok, or SK, some of you may know. He's doing the lettering on the book, so he's been really fantastic letterer. He's really good with offering feedback on the. He's also editing the script a little bit, helping me to make it sound better or whatever. Basically on board as an assistant editor to the series. So for this book, sorry, he also helped with editing the Byzantine Book of Monsters as well. So yeah, he basically gets rid of any text in the comic or adds to it if he thinks something's going to be worth adding in, like sound effects or visuals or anything else. So it's good having someone else to get some feedback. Can't all be me. Well, it mainly is. So I want to thank Terrible Aussie for watching in, checking in. Nicole Kane again. Like I said, I put the link in. Did I put the link into your Fox and Hound comic? I really recommend Terrible Aussie. Go check it out if you're into babes and action and fantasy. I think you'll like that sort of a story. So, and we are in adult mode anyway on YouTube. So this is, I mean, the whole anyone can watch this, but you know, there's a bit of adult content in her book. So, you know, that's all cool. Yeah. So we can't go live. We can't do the screen share. We were going live, but we're not doing screen sharing, which sucks. So I'll just talk a bit while I'm painting. If anyone has, Nicole, if you've got a question, if Bede's got a question, feel free to chime in. And I really appreciate the compliment on the studio. This was blood, sweat, and tears. Literally cut my hands a few times installing all the gyprock, doing the insulation. We had to install a frame so this would be properly insulated in the winter and the summer. The only thing it's missing is an air conditioner, which I'm going to get installed in September, hopefully, if things go well. So I'm pretty sure we're going to get an air conditioner, no problems. You know, no questions asked. So, but yeah, so I'm just painting stuff at the moment. It's a shame you can't see it. I suppose I'll show it off. Hey, we'll go on Facebook Live. So if you're all, later we can jump on Facebook Live and you can watch me there, and we can have a good laugh. So were you? So how long does it take to color a full artwork? Okay, I mean that's a complex question. So do you mean like from a rough page on a comic book page, or are you talking about a whole illustration? Like I've got that painting of Vecna behind there. I'll show off this original. This is for sale. So I actually got the Stranger Things actors to. I got Jamie Campbell to sign it at Metro. I was at Metro Comic Con a week ago or so. So let's bring this closer so you can see this original. There we go. That's an original from Stranger Things. I might lift it up a little bit. I might go so you can see. Actually, move the camera around. There we go. So you can see that that's an original. That's all acrylic, started from scratch, and that was about 10 days of painting. I think I've got a TikTok video and Instagram video. You can see the whole process. No digital. I obviously looked at references, but this is all my imagination. It looks a bit glossy because there's a lot of varnish on it. So that was a 10-day paint process. There we go. We're going like this. Should we do the whole, that whole Instagram review? There we go. Whee! There we go. So, but some of my comic book pages, I take about a day to paint up a page, about a day a page. So that's why I said 14 days, hopefully have the comic done. There's obviously editing and cleaning up of art and all sorts of cool stuff to do. Yeah, digital page is about a day. So digital painting, each page, I mean, this is from start to finish. I use all sorts of techniques. I mean, I used to just pencil and paint and do all that, and I can do all that in a day and a half. But I use a lot of 3D references and models as my base sometimes, but then I paint the crap out of them. But usually a good day's work, I'll have a comic book page done in a day. So yeah, I hope that answers the question. So lots of painting in Photoshop. I used to do a lot of traditional pages. So I do have traditional pages somewhere lying around for the first book, and that was all with pencil and ink. And I'd still scan and color it all and paint the whole thing and just change it a lot. The pencil was just like a base for me. But I just find that, because it's going to be, at the end of the day, it's going to be printed digitally or printed or digital comics. It just is better for publication purposes to go digital. So, and like I said, I use a lot of 3D models to create references. I do put a bit of 3D in my work, but I will paint on top of them and I rework the whole painting. I kind of I've worked in the film industry a lot, so I use kit bashing as a technique. But I try and use models that I've created always. Or if I'm using DAZ models, I will change the crap out of them. I'll make my own characters up in 3D, basically creating my own models. So, hope that answers your question, Nicole. Thanks for asking that question. So if I'm like looking at multiple screens, this is the YouTube live screen. This is where I'm painting over here. So you'll see my face come up every so often, whatever, my face doing different things. So Bede has a cool question. So that's amazing. Cool. Thank you. So, who have been your writing influences when it comes to writing the scripts for the Luminous Ages comics? Oh, I think it's a hard one because there's a lot of things writing-wise. There's a lot of influences. So for me, it probably would be things like Tolkien. I've read a lot of C.S. Lewis's work, Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe when I was a kid. It's a lot of things, as I said, Tolkien is one of probably the biggest influence. But then I'm even to this day, Neil Gaiman's Sandman series and just Neil Gaiman in general, his stuff in general was a big influence. Terry Pratchett, The Color of Magic, all the Terry Pratchett Discworld series, all of that sort of stuff I loved when I was, first getting into comics. And then obviously writers, comic book series, you know, Todd McFarlane, creators like Todd McFarlane, Spawn, Hellboy, the original Hellboy and Spawn books, all that sort of stuff. There's a whole range of stuff. And then there's just movies like, you know, obviously the Lord of the Rings movies, but then you've got Star Wars and then the 80s fantasy. I think we were talking about David Bowie the other day and The Labyrinth. That was probably a big influence for me. What else is there? The Labyrinth, Neverending Story, Dark Crystal, all that cool stuff. Um, that's kind of a big influence. So that's what I kind of grew up with writing wise, story wise. But I read so many books, so it's hard to pinpoint one particular influence as a kid. I read so many books growing up, and I still read a lot of things, and my influences are changing. Like I'm constantly reading different things. Like right now, I'm reading and listening to a lot of Brandon Sanderson. He's amazing. I've got a lot of his books. And, you know, obviously a lot of comics that are out today, you know, even Saga's pretty cool. Um, there's just a lot of great content out there, so it's hard to pinpoint a major influence. But you know, I just kind of look at I look at everything for inspiration. So I wouldn't say there's an influence, but probably 80s fantasy, a lot of the literature that was out in the 80s, and then Discworld, you know, all that sort of cool stuff. So hope that answers your question. Such a shame I couldn't share the page. That sucks. So I want to thank people for the Pat 123. Like I said, I will be definitely at PAX with my dice and my gaming mats. We've got a shipment of gaming mats coming in. We've already ordered them. I have this game, the party mode there. We'll have artwork. Also, the next project, people, if you want to know what I'm doing next, I'm actually doing a Zodiac Dragon calendar. So we're doing, next year is Year of the Dragon. And I've been working on a series of paintings of up to about 8 now. And there's only 4.5 paintings to go. I've started sketching out July's painting for Cancer. But I'm doing each star sign as a dragon and releasing a beautiful, lush calendar. And that should be out. We're going to launch in September, the last 2 weeks of September, or the last week. And we're going to have it running right up to and then when I get back on the 15th of October, it'll end and we're going to send it to print and have it out by Christmas to people as a beautiful calendar. I'm hoping we'll probably end it on, I'm just looking at the date now, the sooner the better, because we want to have it out printed and done. So probably, yeah, the 12th of October will be finished and we're launching on the 26th of September, round about then for the calendar. Once I've got artwork going. So, yeah. And yeah, for those of you that don't know, we've got my Kickstarters. I want to thank everyone for backing the Kickstarter. We've done really well. I think you're going to fund, Nicole. I think you will get there. I think there's a high chance you're going to get there. Just hold. I don't know. You've done quite a few Kickstarters. No, you will fund. I think you're going to fund. I believe in you. And I think you've got a few days left. Let's have a look how many days you've got left. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at yours. Let's have a look at hers. She's up to issue 5, so there's 5 issues so far. You got 13 days to go. You're gonna fund, no worries. Don't stress. So she's only got $700 to go. So yeah, I think she's panicking for nothing. So let's have a look. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So there's some cool tiers. She's got different tiers on all sorts of interesting stuff. So I just backed you. Don't stress. I want the Monster Hunter tier. So she's got alternate covers. There are NSFW covers, but then there's a Monster Hunter tier that looks pretty cool, where it's got more of a fantasy vibe. So yeah. So how have you found Kickstarter this time around? Has it been a bit slower than normal, Nicole? Because I think that there's something going on with the platform. I think where it's definitely, whether it's AI or it's the economy or it's the fact that there's a lot of big names coming to Kickstarter, which is fine. But if they're taking all the money away from everyone else, then that becomes a problem. So have you found that it's been harder? Yeah, slower than normal. Yeah. How much slower? 50% slower? Like, for instance, I would be funded in 2 weeks, but now it's like took the whole project to get funded, which I'm grateful for, you know. Otherwise, all my hard work would have been lost. So, you know, I had a higher goal because we were actually funding the dice and all that sort of cool stuff. So, yeah, definitely slower than normal. Yeah, fair enough. Yep, yep, yep. So Nicole's basically said it's a bit of everything. She would have gotten funded in a few days, and now it's taking the whole project. Exactly right. Yeah. So I've had projects fund in like 2 days as well, and it's a bit of everything. And yeah, and so it's definitely I'm definitely changing my approach to everything. So I used to do like, because I create so much content, I used to do like the Buy A Book of Monsters did really well. That hit 30,000 with the backer kit money. But we did dice set. That was when I first released my spherical dragon. That was when we did a comic anthology. We had 8 creators on board. We released 50 STL miniature files, and we printed minis, resin minis for fans, um, and and a D&D book. We tested over COVID. We were creating that over COVID and everything, and ultimately we ended up doing really well, but it was funded pretty quick within a couple of weeks, and it was just, you know, we at least had I think about 10 days or 2 weeks to kind of push it and hit stretch goals and do really well with it. We had about 2 or 3 weeks to grow it all. So ultimately, yeah, it's something's changed in the platform. But the other thing as well is, I'm as a creator, I'm being more specific. Like, I've got a very kind of creative approach to Kickstarter where I fuse two things together. Like this one, I've got dice, my goblin dice, and I've got the goblin comic, you know. And the problem with doing that is, if you don't get, like, if you get funded, it's great. I've allowed for enough money to fund me to create the artwork, to fund the dice, but you know that I'm not making a profit until I take it to a convention. So when we overfund a Kickstarter, that's the profit, that's the tip that us creators and artists need. You know, so anything that we're getting now, the next 2 days, I truly value everyone that's got me there, and anything bonus is just amazing for us creators. But the big issue, I think, is I'm finding now as a creator, I'm changing gears on what I do. Not in a bad way. I'm just like, I can't put two projects together anymore. I'm going for, I'm only going to go for $5,000, say, on my calendar, because I'm looking at the cost price of the calendar, my time to do the art, and I'm like, not going to release anything else new with the calendar. So I'm not going to release a new set of dice. I'm not going to release a comic with it, or anything too hard D&D wise. So what I'll do is I'll release a calendar, and I'll have limited edition canvas prints, 100 only. I'll have tapestries, things that I can easily manufacture by Christmas. But I'm now rethinking everything, even my comics. You know, I'm not giving up on the comics. They're still going to be there. And comics are a treat for me as an artist. It's something that um, comics I do on the side of my art. And to pour all this time and money into creating comic books, the reality is, us comic book creators, we need $30,000-$40,000 projects. This is the reality, because it's a full-time job doing comic book pages, as Nicole knows, as my friend Bede knows, Terrible Aussie knows. It's a full. Who's going to pay an artist to do the art? Whether I pay someone else or I pay myself to do the art, we need to be paid a salary, and that's why we've come to Kickstarter for. And so a book doing $20,000, that's good, because look, 10 grand covers the printing costs, marketing costs, and the $10,000 buffer allows us to go, or even if it's $8,000 buffer, allows me to focus 2 months on making a comic. That's $4,000 a month salary to do a comic book. So this is the nitty gritties of creating comics, and the reality is the fact that this is breaking even. I'm thankful for it. It's really good. And especially with the economy the way it is, AI stuff coming in, the Kickstarter platform spreading itself thin with other big names, which is fine. The reality is, us creators need to have, if you're doing a comic, if you are the artist and writer like myself, or even if you're hiring other people, you still need $20,000 to $30,000 Kickstarters for them to really make it. It's not about profitable, sustainable. You know what I mean? To be able to maintain an income and to be able to pay your tax and to be able to survive and keep on doing the stuff. So that's the nitty gritties of it. And yeah, so when it's challenging like this, it's kind of a little bit depressing. It's a little bit annoying, and we get it. But at the end of the day, I'll be fine. But I'm definitely changing my gears in the future. There'll be Luminous Ages isn't dead. Luminous Ages is gonna. There's a lot of things actually happening behind the scenes I can't talk about. But definitely the next big Luminous project would probably be the Luminous Ages Art Bible or Setting Guide. And we might start off with one small art Bible and a D&D setting guide for that. So that way we can gamify it. We can, and I know that sounds like it's two in one, but it's one book. So it'll be one book that's got the lore of the Luminous Ages universe and then the setting guide for D&D players. That's probably the next big project for next year or the later next year. But at the moment, we're doing Cats versus Dragons is the next. I've taken a break from card games for a while. I haven't done a card game since 2017, I think, around about then, or 18 when I went over to America. So we really want to focus on this game because it brings a lot of joy to people. It's a lot more fun to make. It's a lot easier. It's a social activity too. Testing it with my friends and colleagues, it's a social thing. Whereas painting a comic, you're stuck in a studio by yourself. It's great. It's fun, but I think it's more fun having people over and having dinner and playing some card games and testing a game if it works or not. So, but yeah, it's all good. Definitely. So Nicole said, as long as it's funded, yes, I agree. And they come back, that's a good thing. I totally agree. And she says we need to think outside the box. And that's basically what I've done. And, I've done a graphic novel. I've done an illustrated novel. I've done an anthology, a D&D book. And that's what I have been doing to keep relevant. It's about keeping relevant with trends, and that's why I've had the success I've had with Kickstarter is being unique and relevant and thinking outside the box. And that's what Kickstarter is about. So, when we launch Cats versus Dragons, we're going to have some other cool spin to it. We're not going to tell people what it is yet, but it's going to be having that unique spin or something new as a concept always, and keeping things fresh is how you can keep even your comic books relevant and alive, and even your other projects alive on Kickstarter. So yeah. Terrible Aussie's gone silent on me, man. What's going on? I think I answered your question. I've got a lot of influences. I think we'll wait till Shane gets in. He can ask a question, and then if he makes it in on time. So we've got 3 people watching. Let's have a look. I'll send him a message. Let's have a look. Whoops, sorry. Let me go. So if anyone's got any more questions about the comic, he's editing while he's watching. Well, that's not really productive, is it? Well, it is actually. Not productive for me. I need some questions, bro. Throw another question at me. Bede's a long-time fan. He's known me, since 2014 or 13. He's bought all the comics, super fan. He also runs his own podcast with Super Marcy. He runs a zombie one as well. So they're really cool. Feel free to drop them in. He's killing 2 birds with 1 stone. All right, that's all right. And Nicole's writing as well. You're all writing. Good, good. Everyone's keeping busy. Feel free to drop your podcasts in Bead as well. Let people know about them. So yes, looks like I'm gonna have to go Facebook live stream and do a screen share. By the way, cool news, if you do back my comic, you get credited on the last page now. And everyone, based on how much you spend, like it's basically like if you spend under 100, you get a little name. You spend $200 and above, you get a medium-sized name. You spend between $200 and $500, you get a bigger size name. Then if you spend above $500, your name is big type at the bottom of the page. So the last page in the cover will be a credit to every single backer. How much will the card game be? Well, it's going to be about $50, I think. So, but it's going to be quite a big card game, like in the sense of it's going to be, at least 80 to 100 cards, maybe more. So roughly about that. We're going to allow, we may release a dice set with it, a new dice set with it, or we may just go with past dice sets that you can buy. But I do, as you know, I like releasing new stuff, but it costs a lot of money. So yeah, it's about $50 for a party game. But the catch, I can't tell you the catch. There's a lot more. You get a lot more value for that $50. It might be 45. I don't know, but we've got to see what we've got to work out the costings of printing the game and getting it out there as well. So. But yeah, likely there might be a new metal dice set that's released. I can't reveal that. Like I said, there's a lot of things that I'm working on for that for next year, and we're going to be marketing it like crazy, getting the word out there. I think it's going to, and we're making the game as fun as possible, and that's the whole thing is we want a cool game that you can play before while you're eating your meal before Dungeons and Dragons or something. If you just want a party night and you just want to play party games, it's the sort of game that you can sit there and play for a good hour and a half and get good value for money. So does that sound, the Pout 123, does that sound like a fair price? $40 to $50? Between $40 and $50. I don't want to charge more than that for a party game, but it depends like on the quality of the box we get, depends how many stretch goals we get. It's going to be a lot of value for money. So, and the goal will be quite high to hit that. It probably will, we will have to run a 30-day Kickstarter for that in September, leading up to the end of PAX next year, not this year. So the game's not coming out till next year because we've got the Dragon calendar for PAX this year. So thanks a lot for the question. Does that sound fair? I'll just put that in the comments. Between $40 to $50, depending on how many cards and modes of play we release. So yeah, I don't know if that sounds fair as a price point. You'll be getting one? Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's going to be fun. So there's a lot of cool stuff happening. We've got a lot of commissions. So there's been some wholesalers that have come on board are getting the dice and comics as well. Want to thank Adelaide Comics Centre. They've actually got a wholesale tier. They're getting all my comics are going to Adelaide Comics Centre. So if you're in Adelaide and you want to get my books and I'm not around or I'm interstate, they will stock most of my books, and unless they sell out, but then you can put in an order maybe with them and we can order in a book for you. That's pretty much it, and thanks. Also Dragon's Lair St. Mary's, they're in Adelaide. They've also bought dice, the Lost Dice, have bought my dice as well. You can get them either at the Lost, there's a store in the city, there's a store down south. I need to get in the northern suburbs as well in South Australia, so we're talking to a store tomorrow about getting my dice and books and stuff like that, so you can get my D&D book maybe, or but I'm going to have a chat with the owner tomorrow, go for a drive, get out of the studio for a bit. Thank you. I'm just trying to think. I've lost my train of thought. There was something important I was going to say. Anyway, I'm thanking people. That's right. So thank you to all these people that have backed me. It's been an amazing journey. We've got there. I didn't think we were going to fund for a while, so I had the real stress of how are we going to get this $10,000 project funded, you know. So hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it? So I have a question. I think Bede, Terrible Aussie. Who's your favorite characters from the comic? Oh God, you're asking me a lot of things, questions there. My favorite character from the comic books. I mean, there's an illustrated novel as well. I mean, it's probably Lena of the Light, you know, and we really haven't. I mean, she features a lot. She saves Thrakos and helps him out. She's his friend and stuff, and she does some cool things. She's got great powers. She's probably my favorite number one character at the moment. I probably would go with Lena of the Light, definitely. I mean, the dragon gods are cool as well. I mean, I enjoy painting Gaius. He's the nature dragon god. A lot of work in painting him every time per panel. So he was fun making as well. In terms of those characters, they're my top characters. Then you've got all the side characters like the Nine-Tailed Fox, the Kitsune, Tuskiko is his name, and Dagar the cat. There's a cat that's really cute. He's really funny. He's actually features on the box art, Dagger the cat. He's in the comic. He's in the first graphic novel. But yeah, I'm thinking of actually. I was talking about this. I was thinking of we've basically. I'm thinking the next graphic novel is actually going to tie in Tavern and Dreams and the Bise together. And these are kind of still you can read them as part of the series, but I'm actually thinking of doing at least 20 pages of these two in the next comic book when we get time to. So it'll be basically a comic book version of Tavern of Dreams of Thrakos' encounters in the tavern and like a quick summary of what happens in this novel, like him going, you know, they've revealed that there's a blah blah blah, there's a dragon god doing this, and then a bit of a summary about this as well in the new book, and then continue on the narrative of the whole comics like that. So as much as I love doing these side stories, they're great. I really want to get back to driving the narrative. That's the direction that I really want to go in. But it's obviously time, money, getting all the art done. But that's in terms of comic book. Definitely after the reason why I'm doing the art Bible is I'm basically getting my head around the world and world building. Going to the card game because that gives me time to write more and paint more comic book pages, and then also gives me a chance to develop some screenplays and other things. We've got a lot of things in the works, a lot of stuff I can't talk about that's really exciting. So, um, you know, and I've made some amazing connections. That's all I want to say. And those connections are basically love what I've done. They love the success of the series, but they're basically saying these connections have said it's time to kind of really work on where is this going. And I agree, and I have been already doing that, but it's about fine tuning the whole series and the narrative and making sure it all works well. So there's a lot to do, and I think we're getting a lot of light coming in now. I might bring the blinds down, so or we might tune out. Yeah, no worries. Thank you, the Pout. I appreciate that. The Goblin dice are going to be cool. 7 colors, get them before they do arrive at PAX because some colors may not be at PAX because I'll be doing other shows. I'll be doing the Bros Medieval Fair and other fairs. Thank you for checking in, and I'll see you at PAX. So, you know, and it'll be good to talk again and talk about where we're going with all this. But yeah, I want to know, Terrible Aussie, you've read a lot of the books. Who's your favorite character if you're listening? I don't know if Nicole's read the books yet, but I've backed you, Nicole. So if you want to get on board now, a good time to get on board, get my books. I've got crazy deals. Like they're like 50% off each book as an add-on. You could get digital books or you get the comic and do you can get, I think, $70. You get all 3 books or something like that, something crazy like that. Or you could just get a comic and do an add-on of $25 for each book, and it basically works out to $65 plus shipping. You like the animal characters? Cool, cool. Is there any specific creatures you like the most? Like in Tavern of Dreams or in I like the animals too. You know, is there any one in particular or two? You can pick 2, Terrible Aussie. So you're welcome to pick. As many as you like. Let's go 2 or 3 maybe. Not as many as you like, because we could be here all day. She's big on the dragons. Cool, cool. I think you will like Gaius, and I think you like Lena of the Light. So Gaius is like Father Nature, and Lena of the Light, she's one of the really powerful wizards. She has a really cool story arc. In fact, I'm thinking of writing a story just on her and maybe guiding the animal creatures. You know, there's so much stuff. This universe is so big. This is the thing. Um, and so Gaius is a dragon I think you'll like. And Lena, I think she's quite a foxy character. She's very fiery, and she also is quite an attractive character. You know, I don't want to overly sexualize her, if that makes sense, but she does wear kind of revealing cloaks and stuff, and so you do get to see a little bit of skin on her. And she has been a popular character. A lot of fans like have cosplayed her. I've actually had the honor of 2 fans, customers cosplay her and rock up at conventions dressed as Lena of the Light. And that again, you know, tells me again that that's what people want. And it's cool that I developed that, and that's what people want, you know. Um, oh, cool. Your friend loved them. Oh, awesome. There we go. So your friends read my books. So that's cool. Are you doing any cons in the future, Nicole? Anything coming up where we can meet up and catch up, talk comics and stuff? Any shows you got into? I'll be at PAX, as I said. I'm doing mainly Adelaide shows because I've got to finish off the comics. I'm doing AvCon this weekend. I'll be at AvCon, by the way, if anyone's in Adelaide, Adelaide fans. No Adelaide jokes, Speed, please. No Adelaide jokes. Remember who you're talking to. We've got another Adelaide person in the room as well. So I'll be at AvCon this weekend, and then I'm also going to be at Barossa Medieval Fair for my birthday. I'm working on my birthday. That shows you how much I love what I'm doing. So August 19th and 20th. I've applied to the Paper Cuts Festival, but I think I got in too late. I might get, if someone pulls out, they might give me a table. But I'm probably going to do the Adelaide Comic and Toy Fair and then drive to PAX days after. So yeah, he can't guarantee that. Sydney in September. Cool, cool. I didn't get into Oz Comic Con. I got my first rejection from Oz Comic Con, which I was a bit annoyed about. But to be honest with you, I've got so much work at the moment. It's crazy. So I think I'm going to stay home, finish all my commissions. The only way I'd like to go to Sydney Oz Comic Con, the only way is if the guests were really amazing, if the celebrity guests were like epic, and I probably would put some money and get a booth. I'd probably pay for a booth if they had any spots left. But in saying so, some crazy opportunities have come my way. I can't talk about them. I need to focus on them and really just focus on doing private commissions and getting the calendar ready. That's the next big Kickstarter. We need to get the samples ready. We need to finish off the paintings. And like, as you know, Nicole, doing, yeah, I know, what the fuck, why? I don't know. I don't know. I was a guest for like 2 years. So it's just, I think, you know, just shit happens, you know. I think the fact that I'm a guest with Supernova as well, and I've been at Metro Comic Con and I'm at PAX, I think they probably see that I do too many events. And I think if you're a guest, they want exclusivity. So they want you to only do Oz Comic Con if you want to be a guest. And that's fine. I understand that. They want to control their guests. But I can't, as an artist, I do this full time. I can't afford to do that. I will lose money. So I'd rather just pay for a booth if I'm going to do an Oz Comic Con. But I've only got a budget to really pay for 2 shows next year for Oz Comic Con if I do them, if I need to do them, you know. So it's a huge cost doing these shows, as you know. Yeah. Yeah, they have spots left. Of course, they have spots left for booths. Of course, because no one wants to get them. they're in the bad spot. You know, everyone wants usually, and that's the problem is just my word of advice, getting a booth if you're an artist, it makes sense if you're like a commercial um, product seller, like you're selling magic cards or whatever, you're selling some other product. It makes sense to have a booth. But when you're, I mean, I do have a big brand and I have a lot of things, so it does make sense to get a booth. But primarily, my fans know me as an artist. I'm a creator, a comic creator, a fantasy artist. So people want to get my stuff from me at Artist Alley. They used to. I did a booth at Supernova in Melbourne because I wanted to be near the celebrities, and I paid extra for that. I was a guest, so I got a special deal. But still, I literally had 3 or 4 fans say, "Oh, I couldn't find you in Artist Alley," and I even have them on my newsletter. I said, "I'm going to have a booth here. You know, find me here." But still, fans were confused and perplexed. Where were you? They found me by Sunday. They still managed to buy some comics or buy some artwork. But at the same time, you know, I think artists, if you're an artist and a writer primarily, you definitely need to be in the Artist Alley. If you know, it does help having the dice because then now people know me that I've got dice as well. So I'm more like a commercial retailer in a way because of the dice. But at the same time, you know, when you build up an audience of going to conventions and people know you, I literally have so many fans at conventions that buy my art, that buy my comics, but they don't back the Kickstarters because they don't want to pay shipping, um, all that sort of stuff. But unfortunately, guys, guess what? I'm getting old. I'm not going to be doing all the conventions forever. You know what I mean? I'm now 43 this year. And as Beatles say, that's bloody old. And I'm working from home more and working for bigger studios and getting paid to do my art and do my books in advance versus actually going out and doing shows. I'm not giving up on conventions, but ideally I've sacrificed a lot to do art and do comics. I've sacrificed my social life, my personal life to go and travel and do 15 conventions a year. So for me, you know, and also my mum works in the business, so my mother is getting older, she's getting tired, and we just did 7 shows in a row. And she's like, when I told her Oz Comic Con rejected me, she basically said, "Oh, thank God, I don't have to do any work, you know, for September." And that's the reality is I'm hiring family. I have my assistant here. I hire her. She's got to do extra work, and it's just really is hard work doing conventions. It's physically exhausting, um, and you know you don't eat well, you don't sleep well, you don't you know there's a lot of negatives to it. The positive is you meet a lot of people, but and it's nothing like actually selling in real world. Selling in the real world is way better than selling online. I find I sell way better in person, and my stuff just has a better impact because it's real paintings like this. So ultimately, I want to go back to 50. I want to go to 50-50 selling online, 50% selling in the real world. And I'm not quitting shows, but I'm definitely going to still be with Supernova as a guest. I think I'm a guest till the end of the year, and I want to focus on doing the shows that I can attend, that I can physically do. And like I said, I hire my mother. My mother sometimes even volunteers, and having enough. You got to hire people to come out with you and help you, and it's a big job. And also, Beaters worked for me and volunteered for me as a super fan, which I'm really amazed and really grateful for. There's a lot of amazing fans that have helped out in the business that have got my comics, and they've also helped sold the stuff at comic conventions or promoted me. So it's a big ask doing conventions all the time. I love them. Don't get me wrong, I love them. I just don't like doing 7 in a row. So I really want to stick to maybe 2 or 3 a month maximum and not feel like I have to do them all to make the money, and find other ways of making money, which is Kickstarter, which is Patreon, which is whatever, YouTube. So ultimately, I wanted to make my artwork more sustainable time wise and to have more balance, you know. So I love doing shows, don't get me wrong, but obviously as we're getting old, things change. So, and they're hell expensive too, I agree. Yeah, so it is, and like you said, Nicole, like I'm actually still single. because I haven't found a partner because I'm so busy working. This is the problem, and that's a big yearning for me. Is I do want to find a partner, and I do want someone. And then when I settle down and I have a kid or two or whatever, it's going to get very hard to go around and do all the shows. I'd have to have a very patient partner, and they'd have to really be supportive and want me to pursue it. But ultimately, I don't want to be doing traveling and doing cons to, at the age of 50 plus. There's probably only 7 years of going hard at this, and I've started hitting the gym more, so I have more physical fitness, and I even did a workout this week, and my God, my traps, my neck, my chest, my arms are sore because I'm so out of shape. But luckily I found an old friend from a martial arts school. We're training 2 or 3 days a week, and he's pushing a good way. And I think, having that physical fitness will allow me to do it for longer. But then again, if I'm doing too many shows, I'm not hitting the gym. I'm not looking after my health. So it is exhausting doing all this stuff. And it's like I've even one of my assistants, Tim, he comes to PAX with me. He's like, he goes, "How do you do it, Anthony? Where do you find the energy? Like how do you actually like?" He's like, "I'm done. I need a rest for a week," and I might rest 1 or 2 days and get back on the bandwagon. You know what I mean? So, and that's the reality of being an artist. So, I wish you all the best, Nicole. So, I hope you and your partner can find balance with it. It's very challenging. So, I know that pain, and America is exciting. Um, which show are you doing in America? I'd like to know where you're going. San Diego Comic Con, or are you going to another show? Feel free to tell me. Be interested to know. Can maybe give you some tips. Apparently, if you can get into New York Comic Con, New York Comic Con is a place to be to sell comics. I've heard a lot of great success stories there with selling comics, even better than San Diego Comic Con. But yeah, I think it's because it's the time of year. It's like in October when people are, I think it was September, October, New York Comic Con, around then. That's when people are buying for Christmas. So yeah, New York Comic Con, definitely do that one if you can get in. Yeah, but we need to talk. Maybe we can go together. We all go as a collective or something like that. So that's it. I mean, I've done US shows. I've showcased my stuff there, but I want to go for my art. I probably would go for EluxCon if I was to go. EluxCon is a fantasy art show, and I build up. I wouldn't do. That's not about the money for me. That's actually about the network of people that I meet. People connections with Magic the Gathering, Dungeons and Dragons, all those sort of cool people, and obviously fantasy art. You find really good collectors for my fantasy art and that. So. So I think Shane is not going to make it. It's already 2:30. We'll see if he makes it in time, but we might have to run soon. Any more? I'll talk for another 20 minutes, and then I'll get off and then try a Facebook live stream, and we can talk. Well, I can actually show off the art, what I'm doing. God. I'm hoping by tomorrow night I've got another page done. We've definitely got we're working on the Hercules in a floral apron page. It's going to be really funny. So that's in the works at the moment, and that will be probably out by tomorrow. Show off that. I'm thinking of doing an alternate cover with that, so maybe we might announce that tonight. Alternate cover, if I get it done in time, or later, maybe in the morning, I announce that as an alternate cover. It'd be quite funny. Hey, he's in. He's made it. Oh yeah. We have to compare MTG decks for sure, Nicole. I totally agree. If you see my collection of Magic cards, you'll be amazed. Also if you do come to Adelaide Supernova and you want to stay longer, like if you want to check out my studio or come and visit, yeah, you're welcome to come to Adelaide Supernova. If you do come to Adelaide Supernova, this is where I live, so you're welcome. We can have you over for dinner one night or whatever. So happy to get to know you. So how's the shows going? Good. I just haven't figured out how to share my screen. So you get to see my ugly mug talk about comics and shit. You've missed out a lot. You got a question? Yeah, for sure, Nicole. Awesome. Be great. Always good to make new convention buddies, So I'm taking you're from Sydney. That's probably why you got into Sydney Oz Comic Con. If you're from Sydney, I think what it is because they've got limited space. Look, I don't want to knock Oz Comic Con at all. They're doing it on a tight budget, and they have to pay for more floor space. That the convention centers and showgrounds charge a ton actually have an event. They charge hundreds of thousands, so it costs a lot to do that stuff. There you go. So what they're doing is they're probably sticking with local guests, and that's fine. And I totally respect that. So if they want me in Adelaide and Melbourne, I'm a Melbourne local now. Bede knows I've got family in Melbourne. I've got friends in Melbourne, so I'm happy to just do Adelaide and Melbourne Oz Comic Con and as an art in the Artist Alley, and that's all and then maybe Sydney next year if I don't get into this year with a booth. It really depends on their lineup. So the lineup has a big impact, I think, in terms of guest turnout and customers coming along. So Shane, comics, we've got comics.net.au, that's your name. Please ask me a question because I'm not going to be around for much longer because we're going to switch to, probably going to be online for another 20 minutes here. Like I said, I couldn't get it to work to share my screen. There's probably a button. Is there a button I got to press to share my screen? That way I don't have to get out. There's no button here. My God, I can't find it. Does anyone know? Anyone knows how to manage and share your screen? You're get an extra dice set. I have so many commander decks. I think I've got about 8 now, but I've got like normal standard decks that I've made. I've got an expensive goblin deck, probably worth about $1,000, maybe $2,000 because it's got Kiki Jiki in it. It's got like quite a lot of really rare cards. I've got Merfolk deck that's got like Lord of Atlantis. So I love my Merfolks and my goblins. And I've got a dragon deck as well, a commander dragon deck. So yeah, you're going to use StreamYard. Yeah, maybe I need to go to StreamYard next time. Figure that one out. So anyone got a question then? Any questions at all? Yeah. By the way, I'll drop in before we go. I'll drop in Shane's Kickstarter as well. Let's have a look. I'm backing that one too. Got to support my fellow Aussies. Usually the love comes back in return. Let's have a look. I backed quite a lot of projects this month. I'm too nice. Stellar Lands, that's right. An epic sci-fi saga. Let's have a look. Let's drop that in the thing for part 1 of 8. So it's an 8-part series. Almost. You're funded. Definitely funded. It's got 3 days to go as well. And let's whack that in the thing. In the chat in area. Let's have a look. 1 second, sorry. Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, Merfolk deck. I reckon my Merfolks will kick your Merfolks, but we'll see, huh? Merfolks are great. Good old Merfolk. The folks that mer. Oh God, horrible joke. All good, man. So that's another project. That's Stellar Lands. Awesome project into sci-fi. Check it out. Looks like a fun comic. Is there a lot of land in there in the Stellar Lands? Sorry, it's a horrible pun. I'll shut up now. Beautiful sci-fi series if you're into sci-fi. The artwork looks epic. Yeah, I mean, what's there not to like about it? Aliens and women in space. Nice, all sorts of cool stuff. action, adventure. So yeah, Comic Studio is the creator, or is the publisher, should I say? And they got Max Ferrada and Ben Worrell working on it. So we've got writer, we've got artists, and obviously Shane's the big boss guy, the publisher. Comic Studio is the publisher. So good job on that one. Looks cool. So I have a funny way of explaining things, don't I? A very creative approach. Funny that. Me being creative, never would have thought. So, any questions before I sign out? And then I'm going to take a break, take a loo break, and I might do a Facebook Live. Are people who wants to join in on the Facebook Live? Who thinks Facebook Live is better? If I can get that to screen share, who's up for Facebook Live? It's just the publisher. Still, there's a bit of work in doing the publishing. You got to do the marketing. There's a lot of work involved. So I know, I'm a publisher too. I was talking with last night on a podcast, and we're talking about how us creators that are creating comics, there's so many other people we employ, like, to help us. I've obviously got Christy in the studio here today. She's a freelance contractor. Then I've got, I even employ B to help out and salespeople to sell at comic conventions. We've got to pay printers. We've got to pay manufacturers for the dice. So ultimately, it's not just, yes, it's a one-man show, but there's a lot of people that I'm economically supporting as well. So there's a lot of people. Without those people, we can't really make this happen too. So I need a question. Are you there on Facebook? Cool. So I'll probably take a break and then go back onto Facebook. But do you want to leave a question for Facebook? Maybe we can get off sooner. I have a break. I can prepare some art, and we can try Facebook Live for about an hour as well. That way people can see what I'm working on. Do some more stuff. Probably go on Facebook Live about 3:30 or right, maybe close. Yeah, 3:30ish. Everyone says sound good to me. It's a sounding good to everyone. All good. Well, thanks for watching. Think of some questions. I'm going to be going live on Facebook probably 3:30. Is that too late? 3:30 Adelaide time. So it's about an hour from now, 15 minutes from now. I'll probably get on. I just want to prepare some art for it. I've been doing some stuff, but I want to just get some more art done for pages just so I can show you all some cool things. So sounds like a plan. Try to make it. Cool. Oh, thank you. The Pout123. Appreciate you. So yeah, if you can get on the Kickstarter, don't forget. Yeah, for sure, Nicole. I'm happy to plug you on Facebook. There's a lot more people that are watching in on Facebook as well versus YouTube. This is my first ever live stream. So thank you. You've joined me you've broken my YouTube virginity. So this is the first time I've done a live stream, which is quite scary. We've done it for a good hour. And just don't forget the Kickstarter. I can give you the Kickstarter link, but it'll be in the. Let's go to Kickstarter. You can back the Kickstarter. You've got till tomorrow, but I'll just make a point of it. I think I've announced 6 people who have the chance to win dice. I'm going to announce 2 more winners. We have got another backer, which is great. Thank you. Who was that? Kate. Yes, thank you, Nicole. Well, Wild North Comics backed me as well. Thank you so much. Oh yeah, also Luminous Ages does appear in an anthology in the Northern Territory as well. They have a cover with, I've got a book here. Here we go, one second. I got that from Wild North. It just came in last week. So this is Wild North Comics before I go. That's Tim Parrish is the creator of the series of anthology. He's the publisher, and he has a whole team of people and a lot of creators. So it's filled with amazing art, a lot of different stories. We've got 0 Point as well, which is an Aboriginal superhero. That's got a famous YouTube series as well. They got about 500,000 from Screen Australia to make an animated series. I'm sure we're in here. Oh, there we are. Luminous Ages. Cool. So Luminous Ages made an appearance. It's in there, and it's got the first issue. I think the first 10 pages. So yeah, that was really cool. So we made an appearance in there. Yeah, so I think it's up to a certain page. I think it's about this many pages, up to about there in the comics. It's nice to see it in a different paper. This is more of a not a glossy stock. It's actually more like a what's the word? A matte finish, like a paper stock, a thinner stock. It feels quite nice. It's a matte finish. So yeah, I was in that one last year, but I got the copy a couple of weeks ago. So yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna turn this off. 3:30 Adelaide time. I'm gonna go to Facebook Live. You can find through Antonios Christou if you haven't added me already. Especially the Pout. You might. I'm not sure what your real name is. So we'll leave that a secret identity. But yeah, and don't forget to back the Kickstarter. We are doing really well. 11,510. Thank you to all the amazing fans. We're now in the profit mode. Now we're making a profit, hopefully. So I'll just share that one last share. That way, if anyone sees this later, it's all good. It's a shame I couldn't get the screen share to work. Got so many pages up that I'm working on. I'm touching up and painting and doing that. But you get to hopefully see it on Facebook Live. We'll try and get that working. All right. All right. Thank you so much, and take care. See ya. Bye.